In the last two examples, we ended up with two solutions, but we mentioned that there could be cases where we end up with one or no solutions. So now we'll look at a couple of examples where we end up with one solution. In example 3, we have 1x squared plus 4x plus 4. Each of those coefficients, again, give us our values for a, b, and c. So setting up the quadratic formula will give us negative 4, which is our value for b, plus or minus the square root of b squared. So that'll be 4 squared minus 4 times a, which in this case is 1, times c, which will be 4, all over 2 times a, which will just be 2 times 1, or 2. We'll go ahead and put that 1 in there just as a placeholder, as we're still getting used to using this formula. Starting to simplify, this will be negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 16 minus 16 all over 2, which will be the same thing as negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 0 over 2. In this case, the value that we have under that radical is exactly 0, meaning we'll have one solution, because when we write out negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 0 will just be 0 over 2, and we set up our two equations, we'll have negative 4 plus 0 over 2 and negative 4 minus 0 over 2. Those two statements are exactly the same. Adding or subtracting 0 doesn't make a difference, so we don't need to work this out twice. We only need to work this out one time. We'll get negative 4 over 2 or negative 2. Since we had a 0 under the square root, our discriminant was equal to 0, we end up with just a single solution, which will be negative 2 in this case. Similarly, in example 4, we have a value of 16 for a, 8 for b, and c will be equal to 1. So setting up the quadratic formula, we'll have negative 8 plus or minus the square root of 8 squared minus 4 times 16 times 1 all over 2 times 16. This will give us negative 8 plus or minus the square root of 64 minus 64 all over 2 times 16, which will be 32. And we again get 0 under the radical. So we can basically just drop this piece off. What we have is just negative 8 over 32, which will reduce down to negative 1/4, meaning our only solution in this case is x equals negative 1/4. And every time we end up with a 0 under the radical, like we did in these two cases, we'll end up with just that single real solution.